SmackDown was, underwhelming, weak. Especially after last week's TLC main event match, it felt just very weak. Nothing new happened on this episode of SmackDown. No John Cena. Still no sign of the former champion Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania 41. Tiffany Stratton got attacked by Nia Jax last week. Because apparently we need more of that pairing, I guess. The United States title scene, the men's United States title scene, is getting pretty interesting, I suppose, as Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest got added into the mix, along with LA Knight and the current champion Jacob Fatu. However, Drew McIntyre wasn't on this show either. Naomi and Jade Cargill are still feuding. And quite frankly, there's been nothing on air developing the whole Alexa Bliss and Wyatt Six situation for quite some time. Where are they? What's the plan? So yeah, I mean, this episode of SmackDown, I mean, it was just generally bizarre and confusing, I suppose. And nothing really happened. I mean, we'll get to the details regarding this, but yeah, one of the weaker SmackDowns, honestly. And it's a tragedy that this happens, you know, after WrestleMania 41. You know, it should be a new beginning, a fresh start. Yeah, let's get to it. Anyways, we have LA Knight come out to the ring. He calls out Damian Priest for interfering in his match last week against Drew McIntyre. LA Knight wants his United States Championship back, basically, right? And he feels Damian Priest is the reason he lost last week's #1 contendership match. Damian comes out and tells LA Knight that he has no problem with him and that his issue is with Drew. LA Knight responds by saying how he got involved at the wrong time. Priest says how Solo also interfered first, to which LA Knight says how Priest's interference led to the disqualification. Basically, we get a match. It's Priest versus Knight. A fairly good match ends with Solo Sikoa interfering, leading to a DQ. Then Knight and Priest gang up on Solo Sikoa. Obviously, Jacob Fatu comes out. Ultimately, Fatu stands tall, holding his United States Championship. A decent segment overall. Nothing new happens, but it was alright. They are building the United States Championship scenario, I feel, in a nice way. I do like this. And Jacob Fatu, obviously, is one of the star attractions of SmackDown. Right? Who else is the star attraction of SmackDown? Well, I believe, you know, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, who wasn't there, Damian Priest, John Cena at this moment, although he wasn't there. Cody Rhodes should be, but he wasn't there. So yeah, right now, oddly, the United States angle seems to be the more exciting angle on SmackDown right now. Yeah, let's continue. We get Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson versus Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. This match was just okay, maybe below average. We saw a pin count at one point actually, but it was presented as a 2 count. Clearly a botch. Ultimately, Fraxium win the match. No doubt Fraxium is fun to watch, but this match was overall, not that good, man, not that good. So I'm skipping over the backstage moments, but basically the WWE is hinting at a fallout, perhaps, between Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in the long run. Or they're just creating some forced drama. We may not see a fallout. I don't know. Nia Jax comes out to the ring talking about reclaiming her title, but is interrupted by Tiffany Stratton, who mocks her and claims she's no longer intimidated by Jax. Tiffany declines a rematch offer, but says that she'll defend the title anytime. Then Naomi comes out and remembers Tiffany costing her the title repeatedly and how both Tiffany and Nia Jax try to make her life miserable. She declares how she is now after the Women's Championship belt. Then, predictably, Jade Cargill storms out targeting Naomi, leading to a brawl basically between all the 4 women. The Good Girls end up standing tall, setting up a predictable tag team match as the main event. Not too exciting, honestly. I mean, I don't know. It's just not that exciting. I don't know what to say, man. I expect more from SmackDown. It's weird, though. It really is. We get Miz versus Aleister Black. and Carmelo Hayes accompanies Miz. Basically, Miz, who has been a jobber for years, loses the match. Aleister Black wins. What's interesting is that right before the match, there was a backstage segment where Miz and Carmelo Hayes are, they're talking amongst themselves, and Miz basically was talking big about himself. And how he's the best, and he's a Hall of Famer and all these things, and I'm just like, okay man, you were at one point, but you're a jobber right now. And it's weird, I don't understand the purpose of the Miz at the moment. It's like he has accepted his just role of someone who is meant to just lose so others can be pushed. It's unfortunate that Carmelo Hayes is with him. They're pairing him up with him. I don't know what the future holds. I just wish Carmelo forges his own path. So far, already this SmackDown seems off, right? The next match doesn't help. It's Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven. If Piper Niven wins this non-title match, she gets a title shot. But that didn't happen. Chelsea Green, like always, plays her comical role. In a way, she ends up costing Piper Niven the match while trying to help her. Anyways, no title opportunity for Piper Niven, and we're basically back to square one when it comes to the Women's United States Championship, storyline, or whatever you want to call it. A match is announced for Backlash, and this is how it happens. So it hints at a growing tension between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Backstage, Nick Aldis confronts Solo and Fatu, announcing that Fatu will defend his United States Championship at Backlash in a triple threat match against Damian Priest and LA Knight. Solo then reminds Nick Aldis that Drew McIntyre won the #1 contenders match. He had disqualification, but he won. So Aldis adds Drew, making this a fatal 4-way match. Fatu then stares a hole into Solo Sikoa. Oh boy, Solo fucked up. Fatu then promises to dominate at Backlash. After Fatu leaves, Solo accuses Aldis of setting Fatu up to fail. But Aldis turns this back on Solo, implying he's the one that's sabotaging Fatu. Oh shit. They are teasing a messy future between Solo and Fatu. This is an interesting thing, right? In this entire SmackDown, I would say the whole United States Championship scenario and this tension between Fatu and Solo, and Fatu in general, his star power and just the way he's over and the fans love him, this is basically the bulk of what makes SmackDown interesting. Right? What's fascinating, though, is that last week is the TLC match, main event match, that made that SmackDown exciting. Right? Yet, I believe they didn't really do anything with that tag team division on this SmackDown. So yeah, United States Championship situation, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa. Yeah, those are the interesting aspects of this SmackDown. We get a Randy Orton promo. It was a decent promo. But that's it, nothing more. Orton targets John Cena, calling him arrogant, selfish, and a sellout who exploited the PG era for fame and merchandise sales. He accuses Cena of caring more about money than his fans or fellow wrestlers, and mocks Cena's claim about raising the kids of the fans. Orton warns that since Cena threatened to erase his legacy, he vows to defeat him and humiliate him at Backlash in front of his family in his hometown, next week. He ends by promising the RKO and a punt to Cena's head. My prediction for this match is that at Backlash, John Cena will win. Cena will be holding the title for quite some time, I feel. No Cena tonight, though. Ever since the heel turn, let's be honest, there isn't really much of a story revolving around Cena with depth. That's probably another topic for another video. We have Rey Fenix versus Santo Escobar. This was a decent wrestling match, but again, it's not the most interesting or exciting match. We know Fenix will win. We don't see Escobar, wrestling that often, so I don't know how exciting this match was for the live audience. Another reason why this episode felt off. It just felt weak. Just a bunch of matches to have matches, basically. So the main event match was Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill versus Naomi and Nia Jax. An okay match, I'll give it that. Ultimately, Jade picks up the win for herself and Tiffany Stratton. Post-match, Jade poses with the women's title before handing it to Tiffany, and they tease tension between, both of them and in regards to the belt, before Naomi gets involved and attacks Jade, a code breaker from Naomi to Jade, and now Naomi poses with the belt as the show ends. Underwhelming. This felt like a mid-card show. It just didn't feel right. Right? It's not just about having no John Cena or no Cody Rhodes or no Drew McIntyre. It's the matches and how nothing new was built, really. Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly had no story, has no story, and was just an average match. Miz versus Aleister Black was an obvious win for Black. Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven, no excitement value. Escobar versus Rey Fenix, nothing exciting. These are just matches with either predictable endings or just no story and build. Damian Priest versus LA Knight was probably the best match of the night. The men's United States title scene is actually kind of the more exciting thing on SmackDown right now, which is good, but it's also a bit of a problem if that's the most exciting thing. And like I said, very strange considering the TLC match we got last week. We got nothing from those guys this week. Very odd episode, right? Anyways, guys, I'm a hopeful person. I love long-term booking. I'm hoping things get sorted. I'm sure Triple H has a plan. Raw, generally speaking, is more exciting with the whole, Seth Rollins situation. I don't know whether the writing team of Raw and SmackDown are different. I'm guessing they are. Because Raw just seems to I don't know, man, have it right somehow. There's a certain level of balance, a certain level of structure in the episodes, while SmackDown just seems to be confused, and there doesn't really seem to be a clear path. I actually think Raw being 3 hours would make more sense than SmackDown being 3 hours, but SmackDown is 3 hours, but for what? I feel SmackDown could be 2 hours, just focus on the things that matter, give us banger matches, while Raw deserves to be 3 hours just because of a certain level of story depth. But I don't know, it's just not that way, guys. Yeah, so that's that, guys. Please do subscribe to my channel, like, share, all that jazz, hit the bell icon. Until next time, the next video, the next review, peace out. Bye.